pleased to be here, and thank you, Becca, for inviting me and having me share a little bit of information about NASA with all of you today. I work as an image coordinator at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center.
All engines are running.
We have taken tremendous steps.
We choose to go to the moon before this decade is out.
We have achieved the earth-shaking, the breathtaking, the groundbreaking,
One small step for man,
and left a mark in the heavens. Our successes build one upon another and amplify what is possible.
The dawn of Orion.
It's time we take the next great leap. We're building the next chapter of American exploration, returning to the moon to stay, so we can go beyond to Mars, to expand what's possible and further our understanding. The architecture for these missions is already taking shape. We will go with new systems, bold designs, and a sustainable mission. You can hear it, taste it, touch it. We are going. We are training, testing, pressing our pioneering spirit into every component, defining our resolve with every line of code, and securing our success with every welcomed partnership. This is not hypothetical. This is not about flags and footprints. This is about sustainable science and feeding forward the advance of the human spirit. Because we are the pioneers, the star sailors, the thinkers, the visionaries, the doers. And because we stand on the shoulders of giants to go farther than humanity has ever been, we will add our names to the rolls of the greatest adventurers in history. Every day, every mission, we advance this calling. We are NASA. And after 60 years, we're just getting started.
Just wanted to make sure you're all awake. I thought that might help. So just real quickly about myself, I'm a photo editor, and I do social media at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. My background is as a photojournalist. I have lived in Washington, D.C. For a lot of years and covered Congress and worked as a photo editor at National Geographic, and I've been at NASA for 10 years now, and it's a lot of fun. Every once in a while, they let me go out and shoot some pictures so I don't forget that I'm a photographer. And this summer, I was able to go to Chile and photograph the total solar eclipse. I'm here to talk about the different ways that NASA technologies captures the Earth and beyond. So just real quick about NASA, most people don't know, but there's many centers across the United States. It has 10 field centers. About 50,000 people work at NASA. You've heard of Johnson Space Center, and that's where Houston, where they do flight control and they train the astronauts. JPL in California works with the robotic planetary missions like the rovers on Mars. And other test facilities work on research and technology and aeronautics and aircraft engine research. So Goddard is a really unique NASA field center. It's home to the largest organization of scientists, engineers, technologists that build spacecraft, instruments, and new technologies to study the Earth, the sun, and the solar system, and beyond. It's really unique because it's the one NASA center where it all happens. We imagine it, we actually build it, we test it, we launch it, and then the scientists reap the benefits of that technology. So the one thing that I wanted to mention about NASA that makes it unique, it was in its charter from Congress when it was created in 1958, it mandated that NASA shares and uh, shares the information and technology that they create. And it's one of the reasons why they've been really good over the years in getting out information about what they're doing. So one of the major ways that we see the Earth in space is by NASA's satellites. Um, there's Hubble in there, you might recognize that. So this is an animation that shows NASA's fleet of Earth observing satellites. Every day, uh, all of these satellites are sending down images of Earth. Um, this is probably one of the most recognizable images from NASA. This is the blue marble that was created in 2002 when scientists and visualizers stitched together months of observations of the land, ocean, sea, and clouds into a true color mosaic of of every square kilometer of Earth. We updated the blue marble to the black marble, Earth at Night, we call it, um, from NASA's NPP satellite that has a day-night band that shows it is a low light sensor that can detect lights at night. I thought I'd throw in there a picture that some of you might recognize. So this is home for many of you, I think. Uh, that was obtained from the NASA's Terra satellite. Um, so, so while the satellites are observing Earth, of course, we see a lot of natural disasters. This is 3 different observations of a volcano blast from this summer. Um, Other natural disasters that it captures are floods and hurricanes. This is a typhoon off the coast of Japan from just October of this year. Um, of course, NASA studies climate, um, sea rise, snow melt, plant growth, etc. This is an animation. It's a composite of a number of images showing an iceberg breaking away from a ice sheet. This would be um, wildfires. Other things that NASA satellites can see are dust storms and flooding and coral reefs. This is fires burning in Paraguay and Bolivia and Brazil this summer. Um, and sometimes the satellites just capture amazing and beautiful images, not necessarily for scientific purposes, but just for us to recognize how amazing and beautiful our home planet is. Moving on to the moon, this is 10 years ago, NASA launched the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Um, it's kind of gives you a good idea of what the orbiter looks like on the moon. It's creating one of the most accurate topographical maps of the moon ever. Image from the Solar Dynamics Observatory. It's a mission which has been observing the sun since 2010. This image shows a prominence. SDO sends back 1.5 terabytes of data every day. That sort of gives you a sense of how amazing our sun is and how massive it is. This is a coronal mass ejection, or a CME. The scientists say that it's probably traveling at about 900 miles a second. The SDO keeps a constant eye on the sun, helping scientists study solar activity that drives space weather. Every 12 seconds, SDO images the sun. Every image is 8 times the resolution of HD video. Hubble, it will have its 30th anniversary this spring. It's made about 1.3 million observations since it's been up there. It's about the size of a large bus. The scientists have published over 15,000 scientific papers. And due to the combination of the optics and the sensitive detectors on Hubble, it can spot a night light on the surface of the moon from the Earth. I mean, that's how sensitive it is. This is one of the better known images from Hubble. This is the Pillars of Creation. There we go, now it's playing. This is Hubble's Ultra Deep Field 2014. Hubble captured the most comprehensive image ever assembled of the evolving universe. Images like these help astronomers understand where the stars are forming and how galaxies like our own have grown in size over periods of billions of years. This image we just actually released about a week or two ago. This is a time lapse of comet 21 Borisov. This comet was just discovered this past August by an amateur astronomer, and Hubble imaged it, and it's the first confirmed interstellar comet to enter our solar system. It's moving at about 110,000 miles per hour. This is a giant cluster of about 300 stars called Westerlund 2. Moving on to Cassini, it arrived at Saturn in 2004. This Cassini spacecraft imaged this massive hurricane that swirls at Saturn's North Pole. It's about 32,000 kilometers across. This is a pretty cool image. You can see this little not so insignificant dot is Earth through the rings of Saturn. Cassini just took, if you go online and search for Cassini images, they're just really beautiful. This is some of Cassini's rings and its moons. More recent mission is NASA's Juno mission. It's looking at Jupiter, which is a gas giant. Its atmosphere is very much similar to our sun. It's made up of mostly hydrogen gas and helium. There you can see the great red spot and how big it is compared to Earth. You could fit almost 2 Earths in there. Okay, let's hope this plays. So this is since 1930, the only view of Pluto that we had. I guess maybe that's why they decided it wasn't a planet. No, not really, but we don't want to get into that. Oh no, this has to play. This is what, now we can see this. And this is what Pluto looks like from NASA's New Horizon spacecraft. It took 10 years to get to Pluto. And at this point, it was about 4.7 billion kilometers away from Earth when New Horizons got this image. So once the spacecraft New Horizons passed Pluto, it sort of turned around and got an image of the planet being backlit by the sun. So moving on to NASA photographers, there's a couple different groups. There's, I love it when scientists in the field send us cool images. This is from NASA's Operation Ice Bridge in Alaska. We have balloon missions that fly in different places around the world. This is the Barrel mission in Antarctica. At Goddard, we have this amazing photographer. His name is Chris Gunn, and he shoots images for the James Webb Space Telescope. This is an image of them cleaning a mirror with CO2. It's pretty important that the mirror is clean because it's going to be about 1 million miles away from Earth, and there's no fixing that. That's a picture of the telescope coming out of the test chamber at Johnson. Of course, NASA photographers shoot lots of rocket launches, and what comes up must come down. This is an image. I love this picture by NASA's Bill Ingalls, who's an amazing photographer. This was shot in Kazakhstan of the Soyuz capsule coming down to Earth from the International Space Station. The photographers also get to cover great things like when rovers land on Mars. It's always it's always exciting when a mission you work on for so long lands safely. This is a resupply mission to the International Space Station, and this is our photobombing frog image. uh, there's no word if the frog survived or not. Probably not. This is a sounding rocket launch at Wallops. This is a pretty cool. When these scientists were going out for this mission, I was hearing about. I'm like, please send a photographer. They were going to be shooting rockets into auroras. But probably some of my most favorite images from NASA have to be the Apollo images. And this is probably another really famous from NASA. It's called Earthrise, and this was the first time that NASA astronauts saw Earth from space. And there's this quote from astronaut Bill Anders who said, "We came all this way to explore the moon, and the most important thing that we discovered was the Earth." That's the lunar module. Neil Armstrong. And then, of course, we have on the International Space Station, I mean, talk about the ultimate selfie. This is astronaut Christine Koch, who was just a part of the all-woman spacewalk that just happened about a week or so ago. So on the space station, they have this a module where the astronauts can shoot images of the Earth. This is an image. These images were taken from there. This is a photograph from the space station of a Soyuz on its at liftoff on its way to the station. Some auroras from the space station. Here you can see lightning and air glow in the Milky Way. The astronauts see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. So all these satellites send back data and information, and we do our best to tell these stories about what we find. And what we have at NASA at Goddard is the Conceptual Image Lab, and there are animators who there's sound for this. This is some of the work that they do to help us tell our stories. So, not only do we have amazing scientists and engineers and researchers, we have amazing artists and animators that can help us, share these stories with the public. Another group that we have at Goddard is the Scientific Visualization Studio, the SVS, and they generate visuals and through the data and from the various satellites.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, it really, without these folks, it would make our jobs like incredibly difficult to be able to sort of tell the stories of all the science that NASA's doing. But that is the end of my time. And I welcome you all to check out NASA on social media. There's the NASA account, but like I said, I work at Goddard, and we'd love for you to check out our social media sites. And the great thing about NASA is that all of these images and all of these videos and all of this information is free to the public to use and to share and to download. So I invite you to check out nasa.gov and enjoy. Thanks for listening.